What is the Air Force hiding in this investigation?
We have not been hiding anything. The investigations have been made public. The explanations of those where there is a clear explanation have been made public. The hearing this morning was public for just that reason.
None of the evidence that I have examined would indicate any proof at all that we are being visited by extraterrestrials.
Dr. J. Allen Hynek is one of the most important figures in this matter. As a senior government representative, he faithfully continued to dismiss all UFO sightings as swamp gas, mass hallucinations, temperature inversions, and conventional aircraft until Blue Book was terminated in 1969. However, 4 years later, he founded the Center for UFO Studies, which is still active today. In 1985, shortly before his death, he revealed that Project Blue Book had indeed misled the public.
I was there at Blue Book, and I know the job they had. They were told not to excite the public. Don't rock the boat. And I saw it in my own eyes happen that whenever a case happened that they could explain, which is quite a few, they made point of that and let that out to the media. Things that the cases that were very difficult to explain, they would jump handsprings to keep the media away from them. For they had a job to do, to, whether rightfully or wrongly, to keep the public from getting excited.
The United States Air Force, in discharging its responsibility for the aerospace defense of the nation, is called upon to investigate reports of unidentified flying objects. 2 Air Force officers have over the years been very closely associated with this activity. Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Stacker was formerly the chief spokesman for the Air Force on the matter, and Major Hector Quintanilla is now the chief of Project Blue Book. Major Quintanilla, what are the objectives of Project Blue Book?
The objectives of the program are twofold. They're the same as they have been since 1953 when the regulations were written. First of all, to try to determine if the UFO phenomena presents a threat to the security of the United States. And second, to determine if the UFO phenomena exhibits any technological advances which could be channeled into research and development.
What's the record so far?
To date, we have over 10,000 cases at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, of which 646 of these remain unidentified. That's not to say that we could not have identified more cases if we had gotten to the observer quickly and checked the local activity.
The Air Force has been accused from time to time of hiding information about UFO. What do you have to say to that, Colonel Patton?
Well, these charges are absolutely untrue. Actually, the United States Air Force releases statistics on the UFO phenomena through the Department of Defense press desk periodically, and we've always honored accredited media when they want to investigate a given specific sighting.
There's nothing to hide.
There's nothing to hide at all.
Is there anything in the files, either classified or unclassified, that would indicate that there may be extraterrestrial visitors over here?
First of all, the project is completely unclassified. And there is nothing in the records which would indicate that we have been visited by any advanced civilization.
How does the Air Force look upon people who make reports of UFO? Do they look on them as qualified observers?
Yes, they do look on them as qualified observers. Actually, most people who report a UFO sighting are patriotic citizens who have been mystified by something that they've seen, and through a patriotic sense, report it to the local law enforcement officials or to the United States Air Force Base near them.
What would you consider as a person qualified to interpret what he sees?
Well, I consider astronomers are genuinely experts in their field. First of all, they have a tremendous advantage over the other physical scientists, and that is that they have powerful telescopes and photographic equipment to confirm their interpretation.
Do astronomical laboratories make any contribution to the UFO program?
In a negative way, they do, because I've never received a UFO report from an observatory.
Not a one?
Not a single one.
Well, how about the tracking and detection facilities that the Air Force itself has? How does this fit the program?
Well, actually, to begin with, the United States Air Force is charged by an act of Congress with the Air Defense of the United States. And the North American Air Defense Command and the Air Defense Command have space tracking facilities which are constantly on the alert 24 hours a day. We're interested in anything that flies in our atmosphere.
Well, how about UFO reports in other countries? How are they handled?
UFOs actually occur worldwide. However, the United States is the only country in the world that places as much emphasis on the phenomenon. Other countries place a burden of proof on the observer and not on their effort.
And that would make your job a lot easier if they did that here.
Yes, it would.
Thank you, Colonel Packer, Major Quintanilla. I would like to close by reading a very brief excerpt from the report of the Air Force's Scientific Advisory Board, which they made recently upon completing a detailed review of the subject of UFO. This is a statement. The committee concluded that in the 19 years since the first UFO was sighted, there has been no evidence that unidentified flying objects are a threat to our national security.
So it's safe to talk about flying saucers and people from outer space, people who may be circulating among us now and who demonstrate their unearthly qualities, if they choose you as one of their agents, by disappearing and reappearing at will in your very presence, in front, if necessary, of many witnesses, and who land on this materialistic earth in flying saucers, to which you, if you're one of the chosen, shall enter.
Good evening. Tonight we go after a fantastic story. The story that flying saucers from other worlds are visiting our planet, just as we are exploring outer space with our own rocket satellites. Our guest is former Marine Air Corps Major Donald Kehoe, who has the support of scores of prominent businessmen, military men, and some scientists in his campaign to prove that flying saucers exist.
Staffordshire's had a whole crop of flying saucers. Spots in the sky, lights in the sky, strange things. But the strangest of all was seen one day over this cottage. Mr. and Mrs. Rustenberg were living there, quietly, out in the country. And, well, you just tell me what you saw.
My name is Henry McElroy, Jr., a retiring former state representative from New Hampshire. Thank you for your attention to this brief message concerning the world's interaction with both Earth-based and off-world astronauts.
I don't know if you've caught this story. This was kind of a below-the-fold story. Shocking news uncovered via Twitter yesterday. The CIA claims that they are responsible for more than half of all UFO sightings in the late 1950s. And they say, you know what, most of the 60s too, probably. The agency sent out this tweet saying, quote, reports of unusual activity in the skies in the 50s, question mark? It was us. And then they link a document to that tweet. It was a previously confidential report on the testing of the U-2 spy plane that was flying at altitudes of over 60,000 feet, the only aircraft at that time that was doing that. It says half or more of those supposed UFO sightings were actually times when they were flying the plane at high altitudes, which of course people didn't realize was possible at that time. How about that? So the CIA says, yeah, it was probably us.
I just really want to meet the person who runs their Twitter. They have such a sense of humor.
Well, and that's kind of become their shtick on Twitter, is they've got this secret person, they never tell you who's kind of behind the Twitter handle, that sort of puts out these glib things and makes the CIA somehow a little more personable.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hello there. Andy Danziger is a retired pilot with decades of professional flying experience, including jetting none other than then Senator Barack Obama between campaign stops in 2008 when he was running for president. And he says UFOs are real. But how does he know? Because he's a pilot and he's seen one, and he joins me now. Andy Danziger, thank you so much for being here. So tell me about that night. It's April, it's 1989. You're the first officer on a regional airline flying from Kansas City to Waterloo, Iowa. What did you see in the sky?
Unbelievable.
Okay.
We took off from Kansas City, beautiful, clear night, got up to cruise altitude, which was around 15,000 feet, for an hour and 15-minute flight. Wispy, scattered clouds all around us at cruise altitude, a crescent moon visible out the left side. Nice night. And something really strange out this way. There was just what looked like a moon dimly visible behind some of those thin wispy clouds.
So a round red disc,
Nope.
you say?
White disc.
A white disc, you say. So you see a white disc, and you're like, wait a second, the moon's over there. Holy crap, what is that?
Wasn't quite that exciting yet.
Okay.
Got more exciting.
Okay, then what happened?
First, we're trying to figure out, because remember, you see stuff in the sky all the time,
Sure.
and you learn to identify all kinds of bizarre things. This thing is sitting here. We're looking for searchlights down on the ground. Immediately, you could rule out the moon because the moon was a crescent, and this was a full thing. 40 minutes. We're flying. It's
And you
just
see
there.
that thing just sitting there on the horizon. How far away?
Don't know. It's hard because there's no real depth perception. You know, it's just there's clouds. They look close.
Yes.
This thing looked close, but I couldn't tell you exactly how far away it was. So 40 minutes, we're flying along, and we finally have to kind of get busy. We're talking about it the whole time. We finally have to get busy getting ready to descend into Waterloo. And I'm heads down getting weather and talking to the company, telling them when we're going to get there. The captain's doing something else. And when I look up, it was like, oh my God.
Then what
and
happened?
That's not what we said.
Okay.
And, both eyes on this thing, a gigantic red ball. It's the only way I could describe it.
Okay.
Above the clouds. It was big. It took up almost half of the window. And we just are looking at it.
Is it closer to you at that point?
I don't think so,
Okay.
but it was close.
But it changed color and
Well, it was
shape.
above the cloud now. It
Okay.
wasn't below the cloud. It had been that, whatever that white disc was, apparently is what this
And now
red thing
it goes
was.
from a white disc to a red ball, and then it disappeared into the clouds.
As we started descending, it slowly started coming down. Quarter of it hidden, half of it hidden, 3/4 of it hidden. This happened over a minute, half a minute. And the instant all of it was behind the clouds it just started flashing on and off, lights. Like they were in, it was unbelievable. Just boom, boom,
And you reported this, and they told you to...
Wait, it gets better.
We don't have that much time. We have to get through this, Andy. I'm dying over here.
The lights are flashing,
Yeah.
and you could see the clouds starting to pull apart into two. And the instant the thing got thinner and thinner in the middle, the instant it was finished, the clouds separated as it pulled apart, was all gone.
So do you think that was a UFO?
There's no question.
Do you think it was an alien spacecraft?
Probably.
Do you believe in aliens?
Look, there's billions and billions of stars, trillions of planets.
Yeah. Did you believe
not
in them
here.
before you saw this?
Yeah, probably.
Did you
Yeah.
have any experiences like this as a kid?
Not really.
Are you
no.
insane?
No.
Okay, if you could talk to the aliens right now, what would you say to them?
Wish I could see them again.
Really?
It was so cool.
Have you ever done anything? Have you ever gone out or put yourself in a position to see something like that again?
How do you do that?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Have you been to alien conventions? Have you talked to some people?
No.
Because I know a guy. I mean, all I'm saying is maybe I can put you in touch with some of these people.
No, I've just lived my life, never saw anything again, but it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen
Did
in
it
my
change
entire
you?
life. No, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Do you no longer fear death?
I never feared death.
See, there you go, Andy. That is the key to life. Be open to new experiences. And, sometimes it's okay to not have an explanation for everything. Am I right?
Yeah, that's for sure. You can't explain everything.
And I'm glad we don't have an explanation for everything, but I am glad to hear that story. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
For what it's worth, I totally believe it.